Welcome to today's webcast. This is the October community call. I'd like to turn it over to your presenter. Chet, you now have the floor.
Thank you, Stephanie. So good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, depending on where you're calling from, however you may be joining. Thank you all for making us part of your day. And for anyone who listens to Mike and Mike Sports Radio, I hope you got that reference. I want to welcome you to our October community call for Windows and Devices. This is the second call that our enablement team unit has presented for this fiscal year, Microsoft's fiscal year. And so with that being said, I know there are a lot of new faces on the call. And so I would like to, before diving into the content that we have set up for you all today, give you guys an overview again of who we are, what our charter is, and how it is we hope to help you, especially as it relates to community calls like this one. So my name is Chet Devchan. I'm the fourth name from the top. I'm a business and technology solutions professional working in the enablement team unit on the Windows team. My manager is Brenda Shaman, and I've got two cohorts on my team, Walt Perry and Steve Adams. And so we focus on enabling our partners with respect to developing Windows 10 deployment practices. We want you to have a sustainable and profitable practice. So we provide technical readiness. We provide a scalable breadth set of information through community calls, Yammer groups, and blog posts. And so we're looking forward to working with you all this fiscal year. As well, we work very closely with our marketing and operations team, in particular, Peng Gernsupaluk. So Peng is on the call. She's going to be one of the presenters today, and I'll dive into the subject area shortly. Before I move forward,
it looks like the slide is not moved.
Yeah, I was wondering. So it says I'm the presenter, and I've moved the slide. I'm only on slide 2, so I'm showing everyone's picture.
I just moved to slide 2. Can everybody see?
Yeah, I see the agenda slide, which is perfect. So that's fine if we can leave it there. So in terms of what our team does, what I want to dive into before we get into the meat of the content is we talk about enablement. We've got a Windows Technical Partner Roadshow focused towards all of you on the call on getting trained on the latest deployment methodologies for Windows 10. And so I'll give you an update on what that content is going to be. And then after we go into that, we're going to have Xenia Polyakova, who's part of our she's a business performance lead for our Secure Productive Enterprise for Windows, dive into what the value of the Secure Productive Enterprise is to our customers and what it really is to you, as to how you all out there can upsell your services to our customers beyond just Windows. Windows is a great gateway into upselling your customers. After we get through SPE, we're going to have Shohei Shinoda dive into Windows Accelerate, what the program is, and specifics on what the expectations are for partners like you to go out and deliver a security briefing over a 5-day period. What content needs to be delivered, and who do you want to deliver that content to, and what resources is Microsoft going to provide you so that you can ensure a successful briefing. And then we'll close out the presentation with Windows Telemetry by Peng Gernsupaluk, who's as I mentioned, the product marketing manager in our marketing and operations team covering Windows, who's also very heavily focused on enabling partners. So with that being said, can we switch over to the next slide, please, Peng? All right, so as we mentioned, we're hosting a 6-city tour of our Windows Technical Partner Roadshow. This is a level 300 depth type content roadshow that we're gearing towards our partners, and we're going to dive in during these sessions on deployment, management, security functionality baked into Windows 10, including the latest and greatest information from the anniversary update. We'll also have hands-on lab information that your technical team can get a hold of even after the roadshow itself. So this is definitely a worthwhile event that we would love for all of you on the call to join and have your technical team take a part of. It's a great investment of their time. And so as we mentioned, we're doing this across 6 cities. So we're going to have it in, we've had one in Bellevue already that occurred in mid-September. We completed one just last week in Los Angeles, and there's one that's starting today in Chicago. The next session that you can register for is in Dallas on November 1st and the 2nd. So it's a two-day technical event with information that you would imagine is fairly jam-packed. If you have not heard about the roadshow, feel free to email us at winrecruit@microsoft.com, and we'll provide you all the content you need and information you need to register and help your team join as well. I mentioned it's level 300. The target audience that you're looking for is maybe a pre-sales architect or a consultant that's at the level 250 level that you need them to bump up to, let's say, level 350. And this is the exact roadshow that will help you accomplish that goal. Okay, I'm going to try to take over as presenter one more time. Perfect. Okay, so tell me if you guys see I'm on the feedback slide now.
We're good.
Perfect. So, I think the content is phenomenal. I'm going to rush through this, but the feedback from the partners so far has been incredible. Partners love the level of depth that we're providing from a technical perspective, and it's providing a great coverage area of not only just deployment, but diving into different deployment methodologies with Windows as a service, updates on applications and development. So I would definitely recommend that if you get a chance, please register your team to dive into this content. Because this is partner focused, you're not just going to get the Microsoft spin on how great all the technologies. You're going to get a very real world approach on what works and what doesn't work. So I just want to emphasize that one more time, that even just from the partner feedback we've gotten thus far, it's been very positive. I've moved on to the next slide, the deployment masters. Can you see this?
I think you're good now.
Okay. Another training that we have is called Deployment Masters. Is an online trainings, and so while our technical partner roadshow is a 6-city tour, this Deployment Masters training is an online training that's being delivered by Microsoft to Microsoft MVPs. And so these are top-notch experts that when Microsoft has a high visibility support case that we're having an issue with, these are some of the folks that we actually call to help support those kinds of customer support issues. So the content is level 400 to 500. And so if you take the technical partner roadshow content and you dive into that, this would be a next level up. So if you're looking for your consultants to dive into this content, and again, if you haven't gotten any registration codes or invites for this training, feel free to email us at winrecruit@microsoft.com. And so with that, I'll pass the ball over now to Xenia Polyakova, who's going to dive into Secure Productive Enterprise.
Okay,
Xenia, I can click the slides for you if you'd like.
Thank you. Yeah, that would be great. Hi, everybody. My name is Xenia Polyakova, and I'm the Global Business Lead for Windows and Secure Productive Enterprise within corporate accounts at Microsoft. If you're not familiar with the corporate accounts segment, we have around 75,000 customers worldwide, and it's kind of the segment between the EPG and SMB. It sits within SMSMP, and we have a ton of managed partners in our space, but also quite a few unmanaged partners as well. So that's just a little bit to introduce me, but I'm here to talk about the great opportunity we have with Secure Productive Enterprise. With Windows gaining so much momentum, as we know it, 96% of managed customers, of commercial customers, are trialing Windows today. That's a tremendous opportunity, and that opportunity becomes even bigger actually with Secure Productive Enterprise, because it introduces an opportunity for you to incorporate Windows into the cloud conversation with your customers. SPE is a bundled solution and a licensing construct that's empowered by Windows, Office 365, and Enterprise Mobility Suite. So today I'd like to kind of take you on a journey and paint the vision of what SPE can represent to you, to the customers, to Microsoft, and also get you thinking about how you can begin incorporating that as part of your practice. I know some of you are services partners, some of you are transacting partners, and there's certain opportunity in both. For transacting partners, there's opportunity for you to build this into your, well, actually, I'll talk more about exactly what the opportunity is later in the presentation, but so let's not jump into that just yet. But SPE is an integrated business solution, and it resonates with IT and also enables powerful BDM conversations. So in general, there's just no there's just no end to the opportunities that we see for you around SPE. But in order to kind of set the stage for why we have this offering in the market, I'd like to first talk a bit about digital transformation. If you go to, so what is digital transformation? If you do a quick search online and just look up what is digital transformation, the simple definition is that it is the application of digital technology in all aspects of human society. And if you try to apply that to the business terms, it's really how are our customers, how are our businesses using digital technology to disrupt the market, optimize their operations, empower their employees, catalyze new business models, products, services. So SPE is really at the heart of the digital transformation. And let's look at some of the trends that SPE and digital transformation, both ways, are trying to solve. Go to the next slide. So first, collaboration. We now work on twice as many teams as we have over the last 5 years. The world is truly becoming flat. Companies are increasingly transforming from multinational to truly global operations. And leaders are asking themselves, how can we better enable our employees' collaboration and networking and idea sharing? At the same time, if you go to the next slide, please, we're also working remotely more often than ever. 4 times now, the frequency has increased. So our leaders have to think about, how do we support our employees on the go? How do we make them productive wherever they go and help them access the tools, the resources, the data that they would normally access at home on the go? On the next slide, 90% of the world's data has been generated over the last 2 years. That's amazing. We truly live in the world of information. And so analytics becomes key to understanding how to make the next strategic decision for your business, and how to understand customers' behavior and optimize your portfolio and pricing. And finally, security. Security is really at the core of SPE. It's at the core of all customers' digital transformation. And really, just to throw a stat at you, 71% of polled executives think that concerns over cybersecurity and lack of security, strong security policies, and strong security strategy really impedes innovation in their organization. They don't feel safe to innovate, to think of new business models, and in general think in new ways about their business because of all the security threats that are out there. It just throw a few statistics at you. It takes on average 6 months or so to discover a threat. An actual breach, and it costs on average $3.5 million to actually deal with a data breach. So it's a huge topic for us, and it's on top of everybody's C-levels list. CIO, CEO, #1 topic is security. And companies that really think about security as a differentiation strategy rather than a pure defense strategy are really the ones that get to move ahead. So if we move to the next slide, this is kind of the summary of what SPE really stands for, and that is trust, security, collaboration, mobility, and intelligence. And that's because it's supported by the 3 products: Office 365, Windows, and Enterprise Mobility and Security, which is Enterprise Mobility and Security is the new name for EMS for those that haven't heard about it. So what's the opportunity for the partner? And the partners that are really able to get ahead with SPE and digital transformation are the ones that are proposing SPE and building it into a solution. So at this point, usually I like to show a case study, but I don't think that it would look good if I show a video to you right now. So I'm going to try to tell you this story, which is about a partner case out of the Netherlands. They're a leading cloud partner, and they were also named 2016 Microsoft Partner of the Year for Netherlands last year. So they had built a solution for Wijkracht, which is a social organization, to enable the workers to get around and serve people on the go. The company, the customer that they serve needed a solution that supports their employees on the go while they can stay connected to the data and the tools that they use in the office, but also keep their customers' healthcare data very, very secure. And they were a startup budget, so they did not and could not invest in an IT infrastructure on their own. So this partner case did it for them. And the solution combined 3 workloads: Office 365, MS, and Windows, which are the core elements of SPE. And in the end, this solution was able to increase the worker productivity by 20% and also decrease the cost of on-premise infrastructure by 30% by helping those customers move to the cloud. So the partners that are really able to get ahead are the ones that are thinking about the solution to the customer rather than a one-off product or a one-off tactical issue. What is the opportunity that we're looking at for SPE globally? Let's look at that in the next slide. In order to think about SPE opportunity, we kind of actually have to step back and think about about its predecessor, ECS. You may be familiar with it. It's been in the market for over 2 years, Enterprise Cloud Suite. And it actually contained all 3 products as well, Office 365, Windows, and EMS. However, within the last 2 years, it's been more positioned as a licensing construct. So we're now pivoting not only by changing the name, but we're also introducing a more premium offering, which I'm going to talk about on the next slide. But let's stay on this slide for a bit more, because I'd like to talk about what has the momentum been for ECS over the last 2 years. And the momentum has been amazing. It's been the fastest growing suite ever at Microsoft. It generated over $2 billion within 2 years. It broke $1 billion just within 14 months. We sold into 6,000 commercial customers worldwide, and 1/3, which represents actually 1/3 of the Fortune 500 companies. So the companies want it, our customers want it, our customers are seeing the value and the benefit in this interconnected solution. And actually half of those 6,000 customers, well, a little less than half, were CA customers, mid-sized customers, which is great because, again, you know, this they're also seeing value in this, even though it's 3 products together. So the value and the price may be a bit higher than what they're usually used to. Why ECS has grown so fast? Well, it's scalable, it's repeatable, and let's talk about what SPE on the next slide. What SPE actually represents from a licensing standpoint. So as I mentioned, it's 3 products, and as we changed the name, the new SKU as of October 1st. We moved from ECS to SPE, and we've also introduced a more premium SKU. So now we have SPE E3 and SPE E5. SPE E3 essentially is replacing ECS. However, there is an added benefit now with on-premise capabilities. So both SKUs, SPE E3 and E5, actually are cloud first and on-premise capable, which means that they have the capability to help customers transition to the cloud. And there is a SKU-based entitlement for Office, for on-prem Office, that allows you to transition to the cloud at your own pace. It's a single per user licensing offer, E3 and E5, which also makes it easier from a licensing standpoint. It standardizes all the names. So when you're looking at SPE E3, you're looking at Windows 10 E3, Office 365 E3, EMS E3, and the same thing for E5. And let's talk more about E5 and what it represents. So E5 is a completely new offering for us, and it includes everything that E3 has, plus more premium capabilities across security, compliance, analytics, and voice capabilities. So on E5, there's a tremendous opportunity around security itself. And let's actually talk about that more holistically. So what are the different opportunities for SPE for partners? Well, first of all, it's building solutions. So all three products within SPE are built on agile platforms and services. So partners can innovate and build their own technology and create new solutions around these three products. Second opportunity, managed services, and that's huge because now that Windows is in CSP for E3 and E5, partners can build solutions around the whole stack and think about things broadly around productivity, mobility, and security. SPE actually, as a SKU, is coming to CSP as well. I cannot tell you the exact date, but it's going to happen this year, I believe, this calendar year. But even to date, we have all components in the managed services in CSP included. Security, though, I touched on that a bit when I talked about SPE E5. There's a number of very strong products within SPE E5 that makes the security opportunity that much more attractive. So I'll talk a little bit more about each of them. Windows Defender ATP is an endpoint breach detection capability, and it's actually a cloud-based security technology. Microsoft Cloud App Security within AMS helps customers get control, employees get control of the SaaS applications that they're using. Office 365 Advanced Security Management gives greater visibility and control over the Office 365 environment. Azure Information Protection ensures information stays secure, and Office 365 Advanced Security actually Office 365 ATP and Defender ATP are actually interconnected. So that's another added benefit to this, in that not only do each of these products have premium security capabilities, but also they talk to each other. So as an example, Windows Defender Advanced Threat Protection and the Office 365 Advanced Threat Protection, they are sharing data, and they actually enable IT department to track a breach all the way from an email to the network and be able to minimize, first of all, understand how the breach happened by following it through on its path, and also be able to minimize any of opportunity of this happening again, and reduce the timing of detection of the breach and removal of the breach from months to hours.
Hey,
So-
Zinnia,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt. It's 12:30 at this time, and so I mean to take a look all up at now, wrapping up what Secure Productive Enterprise is. Who do we sell this to now? Just as we can move forward and then close into Windows Accelerate.
So I was showcasing what the different partner opportunities are, which is to build a solution around the different products, build it into a managed services, build a security practice around it, and then finally the cost savings aspect of it. Think about how you can leverage the cost savings aspect, because we do have an SPE promotion in market today, which you can get up to 25% off the SKU, and that's available to all channels. Also, if you take a look at the SPE pricing, yes, it may seem like it's quite a bit of money, but you compare it to the competitors' offerings. If you try to put together competitors' offering, or all the competitors' offerings, that would be essentially the SPE offering, you'll find that it's actually double the price. So we're thinking that from a cost-saving standpoint, I'm getting a lot of pings, so I'm getting kind of confused. So sorry about that. Seems like there's a lot of different noises. So from a cost-saving perspective, that's also a great opportunity for you to think about how you get out there on the market and stay aggressive from a pricing standpoint. So, to finish up, let's do this. I'll just spend 30 seconds on the next few slides, and we'll close. So go to the next slide. And I'll just say here that SPE is a great discussion with the BDM, especially the CIO and the CISO. So there's also an opportunity to not only talk to the IT department, but also take this conversation as more of a strategic conversation, aligning the technology to business needs with the BDMs. CIO is, of course, kind of the glue between the business and the technology, and they're held accountable for how the technology supports the business. CISO sometimes has even more authority than a CIO at the table because of how much security plays into the strategy of the company and the operations of the company. And of course, there's the additional roles. So I won't go into details of those, but if you scroll through the next few slides just briefly, you'll get this deck and you'll be able to see these slides. Keep scrolling through 3 more slides. Essentially, these are some of the business conversations that you can have around SPE with the different roles and be able to articulate some of the products that SPE contains within that. Finally, how do you go about targeting customers with SPE? The easiest would be to have conversations with customers that already have one or more cloud service. Second best would be to go after customers that have an on-prem EA across all 3 products. So, as next steps, I hope I kind of got your appetites wet around what SPE entails for our customers, for the market, for you. There's certainly opportunities to dive deeper, so would welcome any feedback on the topics you'd like to get into on the next calls around SPE. So with that, I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you, Xenia. And looking at what the opportunity is for SPE, I think you did a great job of elaborating that and quantifying that. There was a question from the audience in terms of how we compare to how our a la carte pricing compares when buying the individual products versus the bundle you get with SPE, and how that compares to the other products that our competitors are offering individually competing with us. So if you could take a look at the chat window and respond to that, I think that's something that the partners are interested in hearing more about.
Yeah, sure.
All right, and so with that, I'm going to pass this over now to Shohei to discuss the Windows Accelerate program. And so Shohei, if you can take around until 12:45 to go into the program, then we'll pass it over to Peng after that.
Sure. Yes. Thank you. So yes, thank you everyone for joining today. This is Shohei Shinoda, in charge of Windows Accelerate worldwide. So let's go to next slide. Can I take over the present? Okay. Yeah. Please move. Okay. Good. So first, let me explain what is Windows Accelerate is from the actually from the Microsoft point of view. So Windows Accelerate, this is a key engine to drive the Windows commercial business. And the objectives are deployment and volume license revenue. And those two are quite related. So our strategy is deploy Windows 10 Enterprise Edition to sell EA/SA. And the key element to achieve those objectives are proof of concept, the POC, and production pilot. So either our MCS or you as the certified Microsoft partner, we want you to go to the customer on site and provide the hands-on experience and convince the customer to about the Windows 10 Enterprise Edition's value, and let them move to the Windows 10. So that is the key element. And I will explain a little bit more about the POC and pilot later. Just give you the idea of the size of the investment. It is about $40 million worldwide. This is a worldwide figure, but of course, US is by far the largest and important market. So we invest a lot in United States. Let's go to the next slide. Windows Accelerate is kind of established, and we have been running this program for more than 6 years. Last year, we conducted 2,500 engagements, and we are expecting to conduct the approximately same number of the engagements in FY17 as well. Let's go next. So I just explained what the Windows Accelerate is from the Microsoft point of view, but to achieve our goal of the deployment, we do need your help. And we try to make this program mutually helpful between you and Microsoft. So this is what we can offer. The first one is, the obvious one is the funding. So we offer the funding, the service funding for the customer engagement. And it varies. For the small project, it may be something like $5,000, but then it will go up to the $50,000 per engagement for the large engagement. But besides funding, I do want to emphasize on the other benefit, especially on the technical module itself, or the IP, intellectual property. So our MCS, the Microsoft Technical Architects, they create the module, and this is kind of a set of the best practice how to effectively present the value of the Windows 10 and convince them to move or to deploy the Windows 10 Enterprise. And this IP or this module are available for all the Microsoft certified Accelerate partners. So please, yes, leverage those IP. And once you join to the programs, yes, you will have the customer engagement opportunity. And typically, especially the POC, this becomes the entry point. The POC, proof of concept, is still under the test environment, so the engagement may be small, but it often leads to the larger engagement so that you can increase your service revenue for the deployment or the device management. It will lead to the bigger projects. So those are the benefits we can offer to you, to the partners. Let's go next. These are the modules we are offering under the Windows Accelerate in FY17. So there's 6 technical modules. The most popular ones, as you may already know, are Windows 10 Enterprise POC and Windows 10 Enterprise Pilot. The difference between POC and Pilot, POC is still under the test environment, and the Pilot is under the production environment. So Pilot is actual deployment. For the POC, yes, for the first half, we prove the value of the enterprise, but also at the latter half, you can provide the hands-on experience how to deploy the enterprise edition, especially the in-place upgrade. And also for the POC, it includes something called the hydration kit. So because you have to you have to show that how to deploy. It will include the not just the client, but also server or like a Microsoft Deployment Toolkit. Those kind of technology are there. And hydration kit will automate to create the lab environment. So it will be quick for you to create the environment to provide the hands-on experience. So those elements are there in the POC. And production pilot, there will the module that how effectively you can deploy the Windows 10 Enterprise. So those two are most popular ones. And then in FY17, we are adding new modules. First one is the Enterprise Security Integration Briefing, and also enterprise compatibility briefing, those are the new ones to even further facilitate the deployment of Windows 10. Let's go next one. This slide shows the funding criteria. So, sorry, I should have mentioned this, but to be the qualified partner, you will need to obtain the device and deployment competency or the Windows and device competency. Basically, those are the same one, but the latter one is the new one. So to be the qualified partners, please obtain those competency. But then after you get those competency, you will be already qualified. Then we will select the funding opportunity based on the customer opportunity. And this slide shows what's the criteria, how we see the opportunity is. And basically, we target the large accounts, relatively larger accounts, and also we see if there is the revenue opportunity or not. Let's go to the next one. So today, I just want to talk about the new modules we added in FY17. Yes, so the first one is a security integration briefing. We added this module because for Windows 10, the security is the most appealing and the most compelling reason why the customer would like to move to Windows 10. And we already know that, so we do want to emphasize on that one. And also, the briefing, we include Windows Defender ATP. So that's a new technology. So with this briefing, we do want to emphasize on the benefit of the security for the Windows 10 and convince the customer to move to the Windows 10. Let's go next. I'm going to skip this slide, but basically this shows what's the contents or what's the 4-day schedule will look like. Basically, we talk about the technology, but we consult the customer situation, and at the last day, we make some kind of recommendation how to go forward. Let's go next. Another briefing we added this fiscal year is a compatibility briefing. Typically, the compatibility is the reason why compatibility becomes the either deployment blocker or the element to slow down the deployment. But we do want to expedite the deployment. Key technology we included in this briefing is Windows Upgrade Analytics. With this analytics, we will know that we can identify which device has a low risk to start the deployment. So, well, some customers say that some large customers say it will take for them to finish the compatibility testing for like 1 year, and they want to wait for 1 year to deploy. It's not going to be the case after this briefing, because we can identify the low compatibility risk device, so customer can start the deployment with those devices. So that is about the briefing. Let's go next. Right now, this briefing is only for 2 days, but we will update this module, and it will be 4 days in November. And it's coming soon, so once we release, we want you to check what's the contents of this module. So let's go next. The call to action, yes, well, first one, yes, please obtain the Windows and device competency to join the Windows Accelerate program. And then we do encourage you to attend the partner training tech series, the roadshow, which Setoshi explained at the beginning. So please be trained. Because of the Windows as a service, we are adding more features, and we want to do the continuous training. So please do attend those tech series. And then, of course, please leverage the POC or pilot or briefing. And yes, please help us deploying Windows 10 Enterprise. More information can find at the connect@microsoft.com Accelerate. It was high level, but that's it from me.
Thank you, Shohei. That was excellent. Summarizing, there's great information in Accelerate beyond just funding. There's a lot of IP that's provided in the program as well. So, Peng, I see you've taken over as presenter, so you can go ahead and kick off and discuss Windows telemetry.
All right, thank you. And hello, everyone. Good to see so many familiar names attending today. Thank you for your time. As many of you know, telemetry is one of the hot topics that our customers would like to better understand. Many of you have told us, that you need kind of some guidance and some materials that would help explain the value of telemetry and ensure that customers understand how Microsoft collects the data. So I thought I would spend maybe 10-15 minutes of our time today walking you through the value of telemetry, the principles of telemetry and privacy at Microsoft, and help you position it to your customers. Many of you are longtime Microsoft partners, and you know that in the past 15 years, Microsoft have been collecting telemetry data to better understand the OS software quality and its reliabilities. Now, with Windows becoming a service and we are shifting towards a more data-driven approach, we need richer data to be able to respond to the customer's needs and be able to push out more frequent flights and releases. So, that's why we have emphasized the needs for telemetries, and we have been collecting great operational and functional data from our users. And in the past, there are a number of users that have participated in the programs that allow us to collect this feedback. With Windows 10, we hope to expand the sample sets of the users and gain more data. And really, one of the most, the first question that our customers always ask is exactly what type of data are you collecting? Are you getting, personally identifiable data from, my users? What are you doing with it? So first and foremost, we need to be able to clarify to our customers that the data we are collecting are operational, and the examples of operational data are, for example, the crash report or performance of an application on certain version of Windows. And secondly, we are only collecting functional data. What are the functional data? These are, for example, how customers are using certain applications, how well those apps are running on Windows 10. What functions do our customers deem valuable? Which one are they using a lot? How do we improve on those functionalities so that our customers can be more productive? We are not collecting any personally identifiable information from our customers. Let me talk a little bit about, how the telemetry data is used, because that's, another key areas that our customers need explaining, need better understanding on. So the principle of telemetry at Microsoft, we are collecting only what we need. And as you can imagine, we have over 400 million devices running Windows 10 today. It is very expensive and time-consuming to collect every data point that is out there, right? So what happened is that we are only collecting a small sample size, and it's usually less than 1% of all the data, right? And when we transfer those data, they are all encrypted, so the customers can be assured that all the functional and operational data that are transferred to Microsoft are secure. We process and learn from those data sets very quickly, and then we delete them. In most cases, we don't keep them for more than 30 days. We are also limiting access internally. Not everybody at Microsoft can access those data. I don't have access to it, and it's depending on the role, how much data you can access, and it's depending on whether or not you get clearance from our privacy. So the data can be accessed by a very, very limited group of people at Microsoft who really need access to it. Lastly, we make sure that the users always have control over how much they want Microsoft to collect the data, and I'll talk more about the different level of controls our customers can set in a little bit. Also, our the customer's IT department can always set the level of telemetry using the MDM, whether it's a third-party MDM functions or the one that comes with the Windows 10, or they can manage control via group policy. The users themselves will also be able to manage the control. However, if the IT department set the control via the management policy, it will override any user telemetry level settings. Now, what are the settings that our customers can choose from? As you can see here on the left-hand side, we have the security, what we call the security level, which is the most limited options here. And the data that we are collecting under the security control is ones that are required to function, for Windows Update to function, or for the malicious software removal tool, or MSRT. So these are the basic level data that are keeping this security or update tool functioning. And the example of the data we are collecting under the security level are, for example, the device information or IP address, which is required per privacy and compliance. We are collecting information about updates and downloads that are installed, any error codes that the customers encounter. And no data is collected if the Windows Update or the MSRT tools are not used. Secondly, under the security control level, we are collecting the data that are required for Windows Defender to function. And those data includes the anti-malware signatures, diagnostic information, user account control settings, UEFI settings, and the data are not collected if the third-party anti-malware is being used and if the Defender, Windows Defenders is turned off. Going to the next level up here, we have the basic level, where in addition to the security level data that we collect, we want additional data that help us understand the devices and configuration. And again, no user content is being collected here. Some example of the data that we are collecting at this level includes the quality-related information. For example, count of crashes or hangs, or the application state change details, the CPU consumed or memory use, or the app uptime. By the way, it looks like the screen just went off for me. I just wanted to make sure that you guys can still see it.
Yep, we can still see it.
All right. Chet, I might need you to move the slide for me. Okay. But let me refresh my screen again. Sorry about that. All right, and then the other set of data, for example, that we're collecting under the basic level includes, oops, it looks like I went back to the accelerate section of the slide.
Here, Peng, I can take over. I still see the security slide you were on, security, basic, and enhanced and full. So if you want me to take over, I can do that. It's 12:56 as well, so if you want to wrap up on a couple slides.
All right, sounds good. All right, let me then move on to the next two level of security here. The next one is the enhanced level, where we are collecting the, how individual use Windows and applications and how those applications are performing. For example, if customers have, certain application that they are downloading from the store, or application that have been pre-installed to the machine, like Photos or Mail or Edge, when there are events such as, crash and performance drop, we are collecting those information in order to find a fix and respond to it. And then lastly, at the highest level, we have what we call the full level of telemetry here. And this level of telemetry provide us more details on the diagnostic or the data that will help us fix critical problems. And that, that is collected on a need-to-know basis. So basically, when it is required, when there are issues that are difficult for Microsoft to replicate internally, we went out and randomly select a small number of tested devices within this pool. Those are the devices that have been opted in to the full telemetry level, and we gather those data so that we can quickly address the issues and roll out fix immediately. So I'm going to move on to the next sections, which is equally important. Now, since we are fully aware of the sensitivity around telemetry, we also know that there are a lot of benefits that Microsoft is offering to the customers, and this is the area where we would love your help landing with your customers. Key benefits of telemetry are that, in terms of cost reduction, customers, by knowing how the system is being used, knowing where the problems might be in advance before, it get rolled out, is, to reduce the help desk calls, and also help to increase the productivity of the end users. There are examples here in which we have used telemetry to improve customers' experiences, whether it's in a form of fixing driver quality issues. This is a great example where we detect issues on a graphics driver that is used by a small set of users, and we were able to reach out to the partner company and have that issue fixed and roll it out within 48 hours. We use telemetry data to understand which features and functionalities that are loved by our customers and improve on those offerings. There are, yes?
I'm going to take over as presenter just because the slide wasn't moving on my end, if you don't mind.
Okay, sure.
And then it's 12:59, so if we can talk about the benefits of telemetry or just the close in terms of the resources, whichever one you are.
Absolutely. So we have made telemetry data available, and we have made a tool called Windows Upgrade Analytics available to our customers. This is a tool where customers can use to better understand their system status, performance, any issues, and help IT department respond to those issues. To answer your question, Raj, yes, we have provided our partners access to telemetry information online, and this Windows Analytics tool is also available today. Go to this the link that I have included here at the end, and you can sign up and get the tool running today. I know we're at time. I'm going to turn back to Chet to close.
Thank you, Peng. That was excellent. Telemetry is a great subject area. The Upgrade Analytics tool is going to be phenomenal, especially in terms of gaining insights not only for Microsoft, but organizationally. What is it that end users are having the most challenges with and getting that insight, especially for data center partners that are engaged with Operations Management Suite. So if you haven't taken a look at that, I would definitely dive in deeper. As next steps, today we talked about a lot of subjects, the value of SPE, especially when compared individually and a la carte to our competitors, and why we're providing much more bang for your buck. What it is that we're providing with Accelerate, it's more than just funding. There's a ton of IP that's being provided for both proof of concepts for having a hydration kit and automating the creation of a lab environment so that you can stand up a proof of concept fairly quickly. And then, of course, with respect to telemetry, just knowing that we're not collecting PII data, and we are also providing our end users control through different functions and tiers and knobs that our IT is able to set. So as a next step, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at winrecruit@microsoft.com. We're happy to answer any questions. There's the ETU team is on that email alias as well as Peng, and so we'll respond as quickly as possible. We're also going to post this video, the recording, as well as the slides on the Device Guy Yammer group. So feel free to check that out, the Device Guy. And if you get a chance, please sign up for the Windows Tech Series training event. It's phenomenal. Partners are loving it. And once you're trained up and ready to engage with customers, leverage the Accelerate as much as you possibly can. So with that, I would like to thank everyone for joining us. We hope this content was helpful, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you all.